Everything okay? And in the last verse of the 6th chapter, Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam samyukto tamo mataha. He says that of all these yogis, those who worship me with faith, those who always abide in me, Krishna says that they are the highest, and that's my opinion. Krishna often mentions in Gita, this is my opinion, but please understand, his opinion is the highest opinion. When he says, this is my opinion, nobody will say, well, maybe you're wrong. That is, Krishna is the absolute truth. When he says something, it goes everywhere. In the 7th chapter, Krishna, actually, first 6 chapters, the Acharyas say are Karma Yoga, section of Karma Yoga. The second set of 6 chapters in Gita, where we completed half of it, the Acharyas say they are Bhakti Yoga. And the last third set is the Jnana Yoga. So in the 7th chapter, Krishna actually talks about himself. If you see, he barely talks about himself, but he has so much to talk about. And he barely talks about himself. 7th chapter, he actually starts telling about himself, what his energies are, and he says what the jivas are, and so on and so forth. 8th chapter, in the end of the 7th chapter, Krishna says, Sadi bhutadi daivam mam sadi yajnam chayev duhu prayana kale chakatam jnyosi niyatatma bihi. He says that I am the governing manifestation. I am the Adi Deva, I am Adi Bhuta. And then Arjuna asks those Krishna questions in the 8th chapter. Adi Yajnam Katam Kotra De. So all those things. And then he's asked the most important question, how can one remember you at the time of death? And the 8th chapter, Krishna is entirely dwelling on that. First few verses, he answers all the other questions. But the remaining of the 8th chapter, Krishna spends a lot of time discussing about what the yogis are, what's the time of passing, good time, bad time, and how he says the devotees don't have to worry about which time they have to pass, and so on and so forth. And he hints of pure devotional service in the 8th chapter, but the 9th chapter, Krishna actually goes full-fledged into it. He gives some beautiful verses in the 9th chapter. For example, he says, Ananyas chintayanto mam. He says, for those one who are constantly thinking of me and meditating upon me without deviation, I carry to him what he lacks and preserves what he has. And at the last verse of the 9th chapter, Krishna gives the most important instructions. There are 3 most important verses of Gita, 934, 1865 and 1866. 934 and 1865 are almost the same. Manmana bhavaman bhakto madhyajim. With the last few lines, they are exactly the same, and sarvadharman parityajya. So he says, Manmana bhavaman bhakto madhyajim. Always think of me, offer your homage unto me, and in this way you will attain me. That is the summary of 9 chapters. And with that, I welcome everyone who's joined online today. Thank you for joining the Bhakti Sastri course, the 3rd semester, which we are going to do for the next few months. We will do the remaining 9 chapters of Gita. And for those who have just joined the very first time, who are checking out, welcome. You can just feel free to attend as many classes. Because you have not formally enrolled, you don't have to do any homeworks or attend exams or so on and so forth. The exam, again, will be the whole purpose of doing Bhakti Shastri is one simple thing. To get somehow or other, get into the habit of reading Prabhupada's books. It is just a platform or an excuse for us to read Prabhupada's books. He traveled, please understand that he produced 99% of the literature that he produced in the last 14 or 15 years of life. Just as Vyasadeva at his maturity produced Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada in his mature years of life, after having assimilated this knowledge of a lifetime of devotion to his Guru, wrote these beautiful books. And he traveled throughout the globe 14 times at that age. Traveling has become such an austerity these days, yes or yes. Especially you have to go to India. It's a lot of work, whether you like it or not. And you go back once a year or once other year, it's like, phew, I don't have to kind of do for at least a year or something like that. But Prabhupada was constantly traveling at that age 14 times. And it was an amazing austerity that he did. But every part of the world he went, he would invariably get up at 1 a.m. in the morning and start translating these books. And so we, as the followers of His Divine Grace, or the followers of His Divine Grace, as the case may be, disciples of, we are all of us here, I think most of us, at least on the screen, are all the disciples of His Divine Grace. So it behooves us to read His books and to imbibe His mood more importantly, and take that mood forward, because we are going to be preachers. We are going to present this knowledge. We are going to speak about this, maybe directly, maybe indirectly. It doesn't matter. I mean, you might say, Prabhu, I'm never going to give a class throughout my life. Or I'm never going to do a Bhakti Sastri class, for example. But will you teach your children? You should know something to teach your children, if you have children, or your family members. So these books are, and most important is this, with the explosion of information that we are used to these days, mind will start playing games. Why are we doing this? Why are you chanting? It says nothing else you have to do. Chant Hare Krishna all day long. What do you get out of it? I've been chanting for so many years, nothing has come out of it. Maybe it is time I need a change. Because mind can actually play games like that, and to be fixed in devotional service, it is essential that we take time to read Prabhupada's books. And so with that, we can get directly into the 10th chapter. I'm so sorry, we will not be able to project on the screen today. So for those who are online, either you can open the computer and go to Vedabase, or even better, if you have a copy of Gita, please do that. And I do welcome who all I can see: Mansi Mataji, Malti Mataji, Srinivas, Liming, Megan, Shweta, Indushekar, Rajalata, Sham, and some names I cannot see because they are too small, so forgive me for that. All right, so today what we are going to do is something. We are going to recite the entire 10th chapter, okay? What we are going to do is, we'll do the Sanskrit, you repeat after me. Then we'll go around the room doing the translation. While we are reading the 10th chapter, I want you to see if there are themes. When one verse, next verse, how is this chapter broken into? And what is the main theme of this chapter? Who is speaking? Who is listening? What questions are being asked? So all these inflection points gives like a good overview of this whole chapter. So previously I would go through verse by verse and we would try to cover the whole verses, but let's do something different. Is that okay? All right. And once we are done reading in-house, then we can ask devotees online to read as well. Atha dashamodhyayah. Okay, kindly repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhuya eva mahabaho Shrunu me paramam vachaha Yatteham priyamanaya Vakshami hitakamyaya. You can start, Jambavati, you can start, and then we can go like that, please.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty armed Arjun, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained."
Thank you. Text 2. न मे विदुसुरगणाः प्रभवं न महर्षयः अहम् आदिर्हि देवानां महर्षीणां च सर्वशः.
Translation. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. For in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages.
Thank you. Text 3. Yo mamajam anadim cha vetti lokamaheshwaram asammudha samartyeshu sarva papai pramuchyate.
He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only undiluted among men is freed from all sins.
Thank you. Text 5. 4 and 5 rather. Buddhir jnanam asammoha Kshama satyam damah shamaha Sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo Bhayam cha bhayameva cha Ahimsa samata tushtis Tapodanam yasho yashaha Bhavanti bhava bhutanam Matta eva pritak vidaha.
Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone.
Thank you. Text 6. Maharshaya sapta purve Chatvaro manavastata Madbhavamanasa jata Yesham loka ima prajaha. Satya Sankalp. Good. Yeah. Yeah, the mic. Oh, Satwat. Anybody's, I'm fine.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages and the Manus, progenitors of mankind, come from me, born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them.
Thank you. Text 7. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tattvataha so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshayaha.
One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt.
Thank you. Text 8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha.
I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Thank you. Text 9. Mat chitta mad gata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. Online? Anybody? Okay, Mata, you didn't get a chance. Okay, yeah, you can read this and then we can go online.
The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
Thank you. Text 10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Online? Anybody?
I can read.
Yes, please go for it. Yeah.
To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
Thank you. Text 12? 11. Thank you. Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashyamyatma bhavasto jnanadipena bhashvata. Anyone online?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, go for it.
To
Yes.
special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with a shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance.
Thank you, Naveen. Text 12 and 13. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishayas Sarve Devarshir Naradas Tatha
देवर्षि नारदस्तथा
Asito Devalo Vyaso.
असितो लोकदेवदासो.
You can mute who's online, please. Thank you. Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. Yes, now you can unmute whoever you wanted to read. Mata. All right.
I can read.
Yes, please.
Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Divala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and you yourself are declaring it to me."
Thank you. Text 14. Sarvam etadritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahite bhagavan vyaktim Vidurdevana Danava.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I will read.
Yeah, please.
O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Thank you.
Text 15. Swayam evatmanatmanam vetatvam purushottama bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I go?
Please.
Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe.
Thank you. Vaktum, text 16. Vaktum arhasya seshena Divya hyatma vibhutayah Yabhir vibhutibhir lokan Imam stvam vyapya tishtasi.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, go for it, Brajamadavi Mataji.
Yes. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Text 17. Katam vidyamaham yogim Tvam sada parichintayan Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu Chintyosi bhagavan maya.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can read.
Please.
O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you, and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? Thank you.
Thank you. Text 18. Vistarenatmano yogam Vibhutim cha janardana Bhuyak kataya triptirhi Shrinvato nasti me mritam. Anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can go.
Go for it, Mata.
Oh Janardana, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words.
So we'll take a break so that we can give a little bit of explanation so far as to what happened. Krishna, when it is mentioned, Manmana Bhavamad Bhakto, think always of me. And here, the very first verse Krishna says is, I will tell you something better than what I have told you so far. How? I mean, you already said Manmana Bhavamad Bhakto, the ultimate instruction. And now you're saying, I'll tell you something better. And that seems to be a little intriguing, right? Let's go back to the verse, translation of the first verse, and then I'll tell what I'm talking about. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. And that sets up the tone for the 10th chapter. Intriguing. What can be better than Manmana Bhavamad Bhakto? Because we hear Manmana Bhavamad Bhakto is the highest instruction. And then we can just see, and then Arjuna might raise the objection. Well, you know what? You don't have to tell me about this stuff, because all the sages can tell. In the next verse, Krishna objects to that particular point of Arjuna. Neither the hosts nor the sages they know, because I am their source. One of the examples that is given is, if there is a child who needs to know the identity of the father, you just need to go to the mother. There is no other way to know. So similarly, if Krishna says all the sages and the hosts that are the hosts of demigods and the sages, they cannot know anything about me because I gave birth to them. And they come from me. So he's saying, I have to tell you this knowledge about me from me alone. Right? So that is the next verse. Text number 3 is, he says, what is the benefit of knowing? He who knows me as unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he alone, he only undiluted is freed from all sins. When you know more and more about Krishna, then you become more and more free from the contamination of this material world. Otherwise, it's impossible. It is impossible to kind of understand or even get free. And therefore, Krishna is writing this. All the purports, please to take time to read. It's amazing purports. The next 4 and 5, Krishna says about the qualities, the freedom from doubt and delusion, about all the qualities, intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion. And Srila Prabhupada actually goes into length, discussing each of the points. I'll pick just one point. We go to the verse bhava. So the paragraph starting with bhava, the birth. That paragraph is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th paragraph. Is everybody there in the purport? Bhava? All right. 5th paragraph. Vicky, please read the paragraph. Thank you.
Bhava, birth, should be understood to refer to the body. As far as the soul is concerned, there is neither birth nor death. That we have discussed in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Birth and death apply to one's embodiment in the material world. Fear is due to worrying about the future. A person in Krishna consciousness has no fear because by his activities he is sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, his future is very bright. Others, however, do not know what their future holds. They have no knowledge of what the next life holds. So they are therefore in constant anxiety. If we want to get free from anxiety, then the best course is to understand Krishna and be situated always in Krishna consciousness. In that way, we will be free from all fear. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.37, it is stated, Bhayam dvitiya bini veshatasyat. Fear is caused by our absorption in the illusory energy. But those who are free from the illusory energy, those who are confident that they are not the material body, that they are spiritual parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who are therefore engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Godhead, have nothing to fear. Their future is very bright. This fear is a condition of persons who are not in Krishna consciousness. Abhayam, fearlessness, is possible only
that's, I think one is enough. Abhayam, I just wanted to read it till bhava. Oh, abhayam, yeah, this is fine. So you can see how it's reassuring to be in Krishna consciousness, to take shelter of Krishna. Otherwise, it is hard, and it's a fact. Everyone, right from the topmost person in this country down to the lowest most, they are constant in anxiety. So the topmost person, of course, the President of United States is worried, like, what's going to be my legacy? Every past president has built a library, a memorial center, a this, a that. What should be my legacy after I pass? So that worry is there. And down to the lowest person. But for a person in Krishna consciousness who is absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, actually it is mentioned at a very advanced stage of Krishna consciousness, you don't even realize that the body is gone. You are so absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, oh, I see, I'm no longer having this body. All right, doesn't matter. It is an advanced stage. Don't try it at home kind of situation. So, with all that's going on, if somehow one or other is determined, no matter what, I'll push my best. I will have faith in gurus and I'll push forward in the process of Krishna consciousness. And my goal of life is Krishna, then Krishna will certainly take care. There's no doubt about it. He is the only person who can give complete fearlessness. You can go to a doctor, we can go to a lawyer, we can go to so many people. Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of you. But you know what? In spite of their best intention and efforts, we won't be satisfied. But I'll guarantee you one thing, that Krishna will never fail you. In fact, if just a glance of mercy from him, your life is set. You're completely satisfied. And that's the verdict of Bhagavatam, and that's the verdict of Bhagavad Gita as we read first next few verses. Right? Okay. Text 6, if we go. This is the universal population of how Krishna said it came about. When I said in the first verse, which is intriguing, after Krishna said, Manmana of Bhamad Bhakto, what else can he give me that can be even higher? And that question is answered in the verse number 7. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. So when Krishna says that if you know more about a particular person, for example, you love a musician, he's an amazing musician, you've seen him or her play, and the talent is just oozing out, and when they play, it just melts your heart, and then you talk to your friend about this, oh, this is great. But then you get to know that that person is not only an expert musician, but a super good cook. Will that attraction go down or go up or go down? Krishna is saying, the more I talk about myself and the more I tell about myself, Krishna is saying, you will factually engage in my bhakti. Of this there is no doubt. There is one last aspect of it. And then as we go future, then we'll come to that the thrust or the gist of this chapter. The next 4 verses are what the Acharyas called is the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. These 4 verses, they give the concentrated bliss of pure bhakti and what the devotees who are pure, in the pure devotional service and mood, what do they do, what do they talk, and more importantly, how does Krishna help? So, text 8 is, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So Srila Prabhupada, if you take into the purport, he goes at length from different Upanishads and different sources to say that only Krishna was existing and there was none existing. Not Lord Shiva, not Lord Brahma. Everybody came from Krishna. And when you see Krishna like that, okay, because you know what? Sometimes you see, okay, Krishna is there in the temple. All right, great. I go to the temple, I do this. Outside, he's there, he's not there. But when you say that I am present everywhere, I am the source of everything, then you go home, you'll say, oh, this house is also coming from Krishna. The body that I am is Krishna's. The body of others is Krishna's. So you can see that mentality of seeing Krishna everywhere is the ultimate perfection of our spiritual lives, to constantly be absorbed. In the material world, it is not easy. And it's in fact impossible. And we come to that particular point to address that and in a minute. But then Krishna says that one who is convinced that I am everything, then he'll say that where else will I go? Right? If a person who's, for example, is disgusted with the federal government, I'll say, "Chee, California is useless. Let me go to Maryland." Federal government is there in Maryland as well. Where will you go? I mean, you leave the country, but I'm just giving a hypothetical situation. In that sense, Krishna is everything. So where will you go to say that, I can do my own business without Krishna looking at you? Krishna is your business is Krishna's business. Text 9. So Krishna says, the thoughts of pure devotees dwell in me. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. This is one of the most beautiful purports. If we can take time to read, we'll read the purport now, but let's jump into it. This gives great hope. Pure devotees, whose characteristics are mentioned here, engage themselves fully in transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of pure devotees are described in this verse. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing with him. They take pleasure in discussing him with other devotees. This is important. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they release transcendental pleasure from the service itself, and in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe, and out of them, there are few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed, and if it is sown in the heart of a living entity, he goes on hearing and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That seed fructifies, and just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering, the spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahmajyoti effulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky also, the plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Krishna, which is called Golok Vrindavan, the supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as the plant grows fruits and flowers, that plant of devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of hearing and chanting goes on. So this process of hearing and chanting actually is not only applicable in the stage of sadhana, but also in the stage of love of Godhead. And it just gets, right now the chanting seems to be, okay, somehow, okay, we're done. And then, but there it's like you chant 16 rounds, it's like, what? Already over? I need to chant more. So again, it's the sadhana from regulated bhakti to spontaneous bhakti, there is a process that takes time. And usually it comes from grace of Guru, and it takes its time. So one neither should feel frustrated that things are not quickly coming about, or one should neither cheaply or artificially imitate either. We just give it its time. Mata, please sit on the chair, or you can use the zafu. All right. So far, so good. Questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna. it's working. So I'm not a regular student, but I just got drawn to this class. I was here. So I have this very big question, because I'm surrounded by people who are not devotees. So they keep asking me, why do you do this? Why are you spending so much of time and energy into this? So I had a kirtan at my home, and the Prabhuji who came, he was also trying to give the answers. But what I heard was that Krishna will protect us, Krishna will take care of us, when life is bad. But I feel that the whole purpose is to fall in love with Krishna unconditionally. And that is never mentioned anywhere, whether it is by the people who are doing the kirtan or even in interactions within on our campus of ISV. Why do we talk about fear of God? Why don't we talk about love of God?
Because fear of God will lead to love of God. In the beginning stages, and not everybody has love of God. And if one thinks I have love of God in the initial stages, there can be a serious mental hallucination. Some people can experience that artificially, as I said before. Love of God is not a cheap thing. That you just fall in love. Oh, I love to eat pizza and I love God. It's not in the same breath, because love of God is an extremely elevated state of spiritual realization that comes from initially fear of God. Because initially I don't have any taste for bhakti, but because I have taken diksha or I have following, then I will do it with the deference of my spiritual master. Please understand that I have been in this world for billions and billions and billions of years. And I feel very happy in this world, even though I am troubled constantly. And to get out of the comfort zone of this world, initially there needs to be this world is not a great place. It's a place that I have to be careful. If not, I'll be sucked into the same patterns of thinking and living for last millions of years. So that awareness comes about. For example, if you have a roommate and you find out that he or she is a terrible robber or a murderer, then your first reaction is not you don't love that person. You are a little careful. So when you realize this material world can be such a place where it can again cover my knowledge of Krishna, I'll be careful of this world. Then slowly, when material nature will say, okay, you are truly taking shelter of Krishna, then I'll back up. Then I'll step back, and then Krishna can take over. That transition process is sadhana to raganuga. Till that time, you have to be a little fearful of this world. Otherwise, willy-nilly, we have seen so many people do, even in India, they do so much of imitation activities of Krishna, but they are going down. In so many Bhagavad Saptahas where just going to Ras Leela, to even know what it is about. So one has to be really careful. One has to be really fearful in approaching this. It's mentioned, fools tread where fools, what is that? Fools fear to go where angels tread? No, the opposite. What is that? Angels fear where fools tread. So angels fear to go where fools tread. Oh, I'm not afraid of Maya. I can go just jump into it. But Prahlad Maharaj, he says that I'm really, in the prayers that we read, he said, I'm really afraid of your Maya. Please. So if he is fearful when talking to Nrsingadev right in front of him, what should be our position? So, and in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, one should know what is to be feared and what is not to be feared. He doesn't say, oh, you've taken shelter of me, become completely fearless and do whatever you want. He says, no, there is something to be feared. So when you learn spiritual life, you'll become discriminative. It's not emotionally, it's not the transition of emotion, but first the intelligence awakens. Then you'll know what is to be feared, what is not to be feared. What is temporary, what is permanent, what is offensive, what is inoffensive. And then you can step up. So mere transition of emotions without the awakening of spiritual knowledge will lead you to a misconception that, I can replace fear with love. But there is that little gap, and that's why Krishna adjusts that. The power of discrimination and the power of fixity in Shastra and seeing the world through the eyes of Shastra. Then you'll understand. Is that helpful? Sure, yeah, but we have just 55 minutes. I would love to have a 4-hour session and answer all the questions, but please do. Go for it, and then ask it, and then we'll continue with the class, because I have to still cover a lot of verses.
Does it work? Okay. I just think it's very, very, very interesting. I was actually going to say something myself, but thought maybe not to. But I think it's interesting how you bring it up. First of all, we're not directly told anywhere. We're told directly a lot of things in the Bhagavad Gita, where we're told not directly in the Shastras, the Sutras, the Skandhas, the Puranas. We're told a lot of things there. And you're going to have to make a lot of work if you want to read and find all those things there. But here in the Bhagavad Gita, you get told a lot of things directly. However, Krishna doesn't say directly, you should love me and share love with me and all this, like this. So it is interesting. And I think why it's interesting especially is because he's speaking to Arjuna. Now, who is Arjuna? A Kshatriya, a royal Kshatriya, not just any. And I think Arjuna's problem, we should understand, first of all, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna there. And then he is speaking to everyone else who is reading it. So first of all, he is speaking to Arjuna. And I think for Arjuna's perspective, this is for me also, I didn't understand, but now I think I understand more, just by accident now. The instructions he gives to Arjuna, it's not like, okay, here's 10 instructions for you, now you can choose which one you like, now you know everything. No. He is explaining to Arjuna what is settings and standards and system of life. So Arjuna, a Kshatriya, who is defending others, has to understand, why am I defending this? Why am I ready to go and spill blood? So he is looking to one world where, like in Hollywood or in normal life, we hear very often, I don't know exactly how to say this, but as much as I can remember, like killing off the finger to save the arm, taking a loss for the greater good and all this. And here he is saying that even though, yes, this is, I'm imagining, what's in the head of Arjuna. What do you think he is thinking?
Shouldn't imagine what is there in the head of Arjuna.
I think I should. Let me explain. Because if you tell me I have to fight someone who is my brother or cousin because he hurt someone else, so I have to protect one person, but I have to kill 100 people to protect one person. So this is going to be very big confusion. So I will not want to fight either.
What's the point that you're questioning?
So the point is
we need to move on. We need to move on.
Well, this is the Bhagavad Gita. The point in the question that I have directly, for example, which I could also answer, but I think this is the question one should ask to understand why this chapter exists. Why is he talking about this chapter? Why is the rest not enough? Why?
If you just listen to the class patiently, we'll come to that point.
Okay, I'll leave it. No need to...
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nice points. Your good name? I'm sorry, I didn't get your... All right. Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions from the Bhakti Sastri students?
Prabhu, if you have time, can I ask you one question?
Yes, please.
Okay, so from verse 2, it says that neither the host of the demigods nor the great sages know my origin. But we are getting all these books and everything from our parampara, right, Prabhu? So how do we reconcile this statement that Krishna makes?
So if I understand your question right, all the knowledge comes from me. I didn't get your question, Srinivas. I'm so sorry.
So in the second verse, Krishna says, neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin.
I see.
So now we're getting all these scriptures and everything from the parampara.
Right.
So my question is, how do we reconcile this statement from Krishna?
The way, excellent question. Excellent question. So, okay, here is the thing. Brahma Ours is what is our official name of our sampradaya? And then the first Krishna initiated who? What does Brahma say? Brahma says in the 10th chapter, 10th canto, 14th chapter, he says, there are people who think that they know about Krishna. As far as I am concerned, I cannot describe you with all my mind, words, and thoughts. If Brahma is openly admitting, I don't know Krishna, then what's so the reconciliation with that is that nobody can know Krishna in truth unless Krishna reveals himself from the heart. And that's what he mentions in the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. You know Krishna, but you can never know him in truth. You know portions of Krishna. Because Brahma, this is a statement made by Brahma in Bhagavatam that I wish we had the Veda base, but I can pull it up. But in the interest of time, so Brahma says, I don't know. When he says, I don't know, A, it is humility. B is nobody can know complete thing about Krishna. So that's why Krishna says, if they might not know all the opulences. I'll tell you one more thing. Krishna says, I'm giving you a sneak peek into the future verses. He says, amongst the body of waters, I am the ocean. If Krishna doesn't tell, nobody can tell you that. So he has to tell his own opulences. That's what. I'll give you one more example. A secretary to the President of the United States might know some aspects about him. But he says, okay, let me tell you, I have this army, this thing. Oh, wow. I didn't know about this. Krishna is infinite, so how much can anybody know him? Right? Is that helpful? Is that helpful, Srinivas?
Thank you, Prabhu.
No, thank you. And the verse, if you want to look up, is 10th canto, 14th chapter. I don't remember. Janantu eva janantu. It starts like that. All right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mata.
I have a question. I've been thinking about this
Hare
question.
Thank you for joining us from New Vrindavan.
Of course, Prabhuji. I can't miss your class.
Yes.
So this question, Prabhuji, it's been bothering me, and I don't get it why it happened. Since we were talking about Brahma and Brahma Vimohan Leela and the prayers. So when after the Brahma Vimohan Leela, Lord Brahma was offering his prayers, and Krishna, it said that Krishna was standing here with the morsel of food in his hand and thinking, who is this person? Why is he saying all this? And he didn't even speak a word. I didn't get it why. Like a moment ago, he showed all his Gopa friends in forearm forms, showing all his opulence to Lord Brahma. And in the next instance, when Lord Brahma is offering prayers, he just didn't say anything. He just thought, who is this person? I don't get this contradiction.
Okay, thank you. Does everybody understand the question, or should I just give the context behind it? Okay. So the short version of the story is that Brahma hears there is this cowherd boy in Vrindavan who killed Aghasur. Seems to be a very powerful person. Who is this person? Let me test him. And then he kidnaps, sorry Brahmaji, I didn't mean to use the word, but he kidnaps all the cowherd, the calves, and then he puts him aside. And then he thinks that now let's see how Krishna is going to play. And in the meanwhile, Krishna expands himself as all the calves and the cowherd boys, millions of them. It is mentioned that he would exactly be the same, like the mannerisms of their dress, the speaking, the eating, their favorite foods, how they walked, how they talked, exactly like that. Millions of them he did, and then he went into Vraja. And this was a festival for the mothers and cows of Vraja, because now Krishna, Sakshat directly, Krishna was their son, and they could feed the milk from their bodies, and cows, they became much more jubilant. For 1 year, Krishna had total blast with himself. And then 1 year, here is one moment of Brahma's time, and when he turns around, he sees he's still there playing. They are still here. What is going on? I kidnapped them. Krishna. And then Krishna, he reveals all his millions of cows and calves, cowherd boys and calves as his own forms, Vishnumurti forms. And Brahma is like, and then immediately he withdraws all those forms. And then he becomes like a small boy, having the yogurt rice in the hand, and he's just looking, where are my friends, where are my calves? And then Brahma is like bewildered. He offers these beautiful prayers. Oh, those prayers are amazing. 10th canto, 14th chapter. Whew. He offers all these prayers. And then he says to Krishna, Krishna, okay, I have offered you prayers. Now will I go back to your planet? And Krishna doesn't say a single word. He is quiet. He doesn't even utter anything. And then Brahma circumambulates Krishna thrice, and then he leaves on his swan carrier back to Brahmaloka. And Mataji's question is why? He offered these beautiful prayers. He should at least say thank you. So, answer to that question is, the acharyas say that Krishna was so absorbed in the mood of being the cowherd boy in Vrindavan. He was thinking, who is this four-headed person and why is he offering me prayers? I am looking for my calves and my friends. That's all I need to do. And he was so absorbed in Vrindavan pastime, Brahma was like, I don't want to disturb him either, so I'll also leave. Already I committed a big mistake by kind of interrupting his play. Now I'll just leave. And then he leaves. So that is the answer. He was so much absorbed in the mood of Vrindavan that he didn't recognize Brahma. So sadhavo hrudayam mahyam sadhunam. When he is in Vrindavan, he doesn't deal with the external world. He doesn't need to know. I'm happy here. So that was his mood, Mata, and that's the reason why this is like he doesn't even answer anything to Brahma.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. All right. More? We need, okay, yes. Questions are important, even if I complete the chapter or not.
Going back to Mansi Mataji's question, thank you for explaining to us the mood of Krishna and why he reacted in that way with Brahma. In someone's class, I had heard this, that and please let me know if my understanding was not correct, is that even though Indra attacked the Vrajvasis and Krishna accepted his prayers, but he did not react to Brahma, is also because Brahma tried to take away his beloved gop friends and away from him. And whereas because of Indra, everyone was surrounded to Krishna under the Govardhan hill for 7 days, 7 nights, so that Krishna was able to spend more time with them non-stop. So that is also the reason that one should be very careful about taking someone away from Krishna through words or actions. Is that a good, a different explanation or my understanding?
Must be. I read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, and that's what he explains. Perhaps other acharyas might have explained it like that. So, well, to counter to that point is, Indra, it's like, I come and terrorize your whole family and you come together, so I become the binder of your family kind of situation. I mean, how ethical is that? I have made a threat to kill this whole family, and the family is, we forget all our differences, there is an external threat, let's do it. I don't know how much would be kind of thing, because literally he tried to kill. At least here, in that, if you be on the side of Brahma, he just took away for a moment and put them to sleep nicely. He didn't even trouble them. Here, Indra just tried to kill everyone. So, anyways. Other questions, comments? Okay. Text 10, Srila Prabhupada writes, the translation, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So, Srila Prabhupada mentions a good amount of time on Buddhi Yoga, which is in the 2nd chapter, Krishna says, take shelter of Buddhi Yoga But that Buddhi Yoga is clarified here as Bhakti Yoga. Tesham evanu kampartam. If to show them special mercy, I give them knowledge. I destroy the ignorance and I shine the light, the lamp of knowledge from within their heart. And that's really an amazing promise. So Krishna, here is the beauty though. Here is the thing. If you see, Krishna says that, what is that? Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. What verse is that? Matchitta madgata prana. He says that my devotees, they are always talking about me and they are getting great satisfaction and so on and so forth. Here Krishna is not completely destroyed their ignorance. It comes in the next verse. But the very fact that we can hear and chant about Krishna like we are doing now, sitting in Gita class and just trying to understand his words and getting pleasure, in spite of the bad teacher, you still can get, this is the idea. This is the idea. Is that okay? Right. And the next verses, the most important verses is that Arjuna says Param Brahma. He says that he praises the Lord. And then the question he asks is, how can I think of you? That is the crux of this chapter. Why does this chapter exist? Is essentially to give you an idea about how to think of Krishna. And he says that if you are living in this world, then you cannot see Krishna directly, yes or yes. But Krishna says, I will give you the hint of my opulences. By looking at them, you can think of me. I'll give an example. When the child goes to school, and the mother is a little bit sad, the child is not there at home. But when she goes to clean the bedroom or goes into the bedroom of the child, the shoes, the toys, the books, and all those naughty drawings that he did, is she seeing them as shoes, toys, and just scribbling paintings, or does that help her remember her child? It is not her child that is present, but the things or the artifacts of the child that trigger the remembrance of the child. So in the same way, Krishna says, Arjuna asks this question, I am in this world, I can't see you 24/7. How can I think of you always? You asked me to think of me always, but I am in this world, how can I think of you? And then Krishna actually gives the opulences or his vibhutis, and you can help remember. Is that helpful? Okay, let's see. Any questions online, or we are good? Okay, let's see if we can complete the chapters. Text 19. Everybody there? All right, we can do inside or the live audience, and then we can go online audience. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Hantate Katayishyami Divya Hyatma Vibhutayaha Pradhanayatah Kuru Shreshta Nastyanto Vistarasya Me. Text 19.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless.
Thank you. Text 20. Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutashayastitaha Aham Adischa Madhyam Cha. Oh, shoot. So you have to do that. Oh, okay, sorry, my bad. My apologies. Bhutanam anta eva cha.
I am the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings.
Text 21. Adityanam aham Vishnur Jyotisham Raviram Shuman Marichir Marutamasmi Nakshatranam aham Shashi.
Hare Krishna. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon.
Thank you. Text 22. Vedanam samavedosmi Devanam asmi vasavaha Indriyanam manaschasmi Bhutanam asmi chetana.
Hare Krishna. Of the Vedas, I am the Sama Veda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force, consciousness.
Thank you. Text 23. Rudranam Shankaraschasmi Vittesho Yaksharakshasam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meruhu Shikharinamaham.
Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am Fire, Agni. And of the mountains, I am Meru.
Thank you. Text 24. Purodhasam cha mukyam mam Viddhi partha brihaspatim Senani namaham skandaha Sarasamasmi sagaraha.
Of priests, O Arjun, know me to be the chief Brahaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean.
Thank you. Text 25. Maharshinam Bhruguraham
Maharshinam Bhruguraham
Giramyasmyekam aksharam
Giramasmekam aksharam
Yajnanam japa yajñosmi
Yagyanam japa yagyosmi
Stavaranam Himalayah.
Hare Krishna. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, that is Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas.
Thank you. Text 26. Ashvattah sarva vrikshanam Devarshinam cha naradaha Gandharvanam chitrarataha Siddhanam kapilo munihi.
Of all trees, I am the banyan tree, and of the sages, I am the demigod. I am Narada. Of the Gandharva, I am the Chitrarath, and among the perfect beings, I am the sage Kapila.
Thank you. Everybody done here? And Tapoma, did you? Okay. All right. So we can go online. Huh? Oh, Mata. Okay. Sorry. Perfect. Text 27. Okay. Two more Matajis and then we'll go online. Uchchai Shravasam Ashwanam Vidhimam Amritodbhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam cha naradhipam.
Of horses, know me to be Uchchaishrava, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavat, and among men, I am the monarch.
Thank you. Text 28. Ayudhanam aham vajram. Dhenunam asmi kamadhuk. Prajanaschasmi kandarpaha. Sarpanam asmi vasukihi.
Of weapons I am the thunderbolt, among cows I am the surbi. Of causes for procreation I am Kandarp, the god of love, and of serpents I am Vasuki.
Thank you. Text 29. Anantaschasmi naganam. Varuno yadasamaham. Pitrinam aryama chasmi. Yamaha samyamatamaham. Online?
I'll read, Prabhu. This is Shweta.
Okay.
Of the many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta, and among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama, and among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the lord of death.
Thank you. Text 30. Prahladaschasmi daityanam. Kalaha kalayatamaham. Mriganam cha mrigendroham. Vainateyascha pakshinam.
Hare Krishna. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlada. Among subduers, I am Time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garuda.
Thank you. Text 31. Pavanaha pavatamasmi. Ramashastra britamaham. Jhasanam makaraschasmi. Shrotasamasmi Janavi.
Hare Krishna. Of purifiers I am the wind, of the wielders of weapon I am Rama, of fishes I am the shark, and of flowing rivers I am the Ganges.
Thank you. Text 32. Sarganamaadirantascha. Madhyam chaivaham Arjuna. Adhyatma vidya vidyanam. Vadaha pravadatamaham.
Krishna. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle. O Arjuna, of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusive truth.
Thank you. Text 33. Aksharanam akarosmi. Dvandva samasikasya cha. Aham evakshaya kalo. Tataham vishvato mukhaha.
Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma.
Thank you. Text 34. Mrityu sarvaharashchaham. Udbhavascha bhavishyatam. Kirtishrirvakcha narinam. Smritir medha dhriti kshama. Mansi Mataji, can you do it?
Yes, Prabhuji. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience.
Thank you. Text 35. Brihat samatata samnam. Gayatri chandasamaham. Masanam marga shirshoham. Ritunam kusumakaraha. Anybody online? Or should we revert
I
back?
can read, Prabhu.
Yeah, please.
Of the hymns in the Sama Veda, I am the Brihat Sama, and of the poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Marga Shirisha, November, December, and of the seasons, I am flower-bearing spring.
Thank you. Text 36. Dyutam chalayatam asmi. Tejas tejasvinamaham. Jayosmi vyavasayosmi. Sattvam sattvavatamaham.
I am also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong.
Thank you. Text 37. Vrishninam vasudevosmi. Pandavanam dhananjayah. Muninam apyaham vyasaha. Kavinam ushana kavi.
Of the descendants of Rishni, I am Vasudev, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjun. Of the sages, I am Vyas, and among great thinkers, I am Usana.
Thank you.
Hare
Text
Krishna.
30. Hare Krishna. Text 38. Dando damayatamasmi. Nitirasmi jigitshitam. Maunam chaivasmi guhyanam. Jnanam jnanavatamaham. Okay, in person, please, you can start.
Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am the wisdom.
Thank you. Text 39. Yachapi sarvabhutanam. Bijam tadaham arjuna. Na tad asti vinayatsyan. Maya bhutam characharam.
Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me.
So here Krishna is very clear. Super clear. So this Krishna here, he talks about his own vibhutis or opulences, and he categorizes them in many, many ways. And we can get into each of this to kind of discuss at length, but I'll give few examples. So he says, Rudranam Shankaras Chasmi, which means that Rudras, there are 11 types of Rudras that's mentioned in Bhagavatam. And one of the main is Lord Shiva or Shankara. So he says that of all the Rudras, I am this. So he takes the whole way he distinguishes is that he takes or categorizes objects, peoples, time, phenomena, everything. And then he says, of these I am this, of these I am this, of these I am this. One of the things is he says, I am time. Now, people feel that, oh, I should get this. Or if you go to astrologer, for example, and you say, oh, in your astrology, you'll become a very rich person or whatever. And that person is like, when will I be rich? Krishna is saying, I am the time. When the time comes, then you will get it. Because I am going to divide you with whatever you have, the destiny. And even if the negative is there, also you will get it. But I am the time. And then he says, of the gambling, of the cheats, I am gambling. It's amazing on how you can get cheated in a gambling match. Truly. Don't ever try that, because all the casinos exist and they are flourishing because somehow they were able to convince you that you have a chance to win while they are winning all the time. Think about it. And then one of the things is, of all the wielders of weapon, he says, I am Rama. And then who is Rama? So the Acharyas say it is Parusharam, who's the wielder of weapons. Some Acharyas mention it's Balram, but it's Parusharam. That's what is the answer. Of all the bodies of water, I am. So when you go see Pacific Ocean, the whole idea is, oh, you remember Krishna. You have something to say, add? Kennedy, you raised your hand.
I was more just making a comment to myself that it struck me the other day that I was looking at the ocean, because I have the privilege of living in Santa Cruz. And it's this idea that we can only see a fraction of it. It's truly endless. It envelops the wholeness of this world, but we can only see a small portion of it that already seems overwhelming.
Thank you. And we can see, yes, but think about it. The ocean never crosses over. The ocean never eats up the land. The ocean is perfectly still. And the water of the ocean never deteriorates. The whole, Srila Prabhupada writes, the ocean is salty because fresh water deteriorates. Salt water never deteriorates. If you want to have anything preservative, there is no preservative without salt in it, yes or yes? So the salty water is never that's how it preserves. The water is preserved. And when I heard this, I was amazed with one thing. How is it that the ocean can stick to the land when Earth is moving so fast? I mean, you take a ball and put some water and spin it hard, the water will fly it off. This ocean is so enormous, and the Earth is spinning at such a fast pace, but the water is not flying off. That when I was young, that struck me a lot. So when you see these things, then you'll see that there is a higher power. It cannot be, but how can ocean defy the laws of physics and yet seem so still and so beautiful? It's Krishna. And just contemplating on the nature, you will realize that the world is much bigger, much vaster. And Krishna says, when you meditate on this and you think of Krishna, this is the way to think of Krishna. He says, when you drink water, I am the taste of water. When you look at the ocean, I am that ocean. When you look at anything, he says, I am the ability of men. Here, of course, he says, of all those victorious, I am the victory. He said that here. So we can see, oh, somebody is victorious, there is no need to envy. Then you will see, oh, Krishna favored that person. And that's why that person is victorious. And when you see like that, that envy actually transforms into remembrance of Krishna. So, one last point. Don't confuse vibhutis with Krishna. I mean, I'm just doing it as a pure joke. Kennedy, please forgive me. She's a very intelligent person. She will not take an arti tray and go to Monterey Aquarium and say, of the bodies of fish, I am shark, and do arti to the shark in Monterey Ocean. What are you doing? Well, Bhagavad Gita is mentioned among all the fishes, I am shark. Or worse still, Of the animals I am? Yeah, oh, lion, here, I offer obeisances to you, you'll become the next meal of the lion. Just joking. So these are vibhutis meant to inspire the thought of Krishna, but not to be taken as Krishna directly. So there is that difference aspect of it, to have the clear. Yes, Mataji, your name, Mata? Chaya. Jaya. Chaya. Jaya. Okay, yes, Jaya Mataji.
Yeah, I was thinking about that point, Prabhuji, that Krishna is victory among victorious, gambling among cheaters. And I'm just trying to understand how I try to contemplate that he is the gambling among the cheaters. How do I think about it? So is it, am I right to think that these are the gunas? Victory is a passion, and splendid is probably a mode of goodness, and gambling is a mode of ignorance. And Krishna lies in these three gunas. And that's how he's coming up with an example to tell us that I'm in these gunas, hence in these actions. So I'm just wondering.
That's an excellent point you brought up. When you bring it up like that, I'll get back to you. Can we divide Krishna's vibhutis based on the gunas? It's a good question or it's a good observation that you brought up.
So similarly, like water and all the, what are the 5 things that he is? So we learn about 24 elements. So, and these are probably an examples coming up that I am this and this. So I'm just thinking, how do I imagine that he is a gambling in a cheater? So that is probably a mode that I'm trying to.
So one way to think about is this, and it's happened much often. Krishna says, always think of me, right? And people say, I'm not going to die now. I'll die later. Let me think of Krishna when I have to die. That way I'll enjoy my life, and then I'll get Krishna. It's a win-win situation. That is, Krishna is saying, if you think like that, then he's highlighting the psychology behind the gambling process. When a person goes to gamble, I want to get everything for nothing. I'll give few $1, I'm expecting $10 billion out of it. So, but then oftentimes you'll see that you are cheated like that. So Krishna is saying that if you try to cheat me, or if you have that cheating mentality, I'm better than you. Don't do that. Yeah, and then just to bring up that point, we'll just read Prabhupada's purport. He wrote just 3 lines or 2 lines on that. It's 10th chapter, 36th verse, purport. Let me know if everybody's there. 10:36. All right. Purport. There are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all cheating processes, gambling stands supreme and therefore represents Krishna. As the supreme, Krishna can be more deceitful than any mere man. If Krishna chooses to deceive a person, no one can surpass him in his deceit. His greatness is not simply one-sided, it is all-sided. One classic example of cheating, Krishna, Hiranyakashipu. He took every possible insurance against Krishna. Okay, you created the world like this, I'm going to check. And Brahma said, okay, done. Hiranyakashipu said, okay, you think you are safe? Let me show you my cheating capacity. Right? So that's what is meant by here. If you want to be deluded by Krishna's energy, Krishna will make you think you are the boss. In fact, it is the most amazing thing is, how can a person feel you are in control when you are constantly controlled by Krishna? Think about it. In this world, people have such an exaggerated opinion about their own well-being and the money or power or prestige, and they think they are the controllers. But Krishna is just cheating them through time. Is that helpful, Mata? Yeah. Thank you. Yes. I have actually, Kennedy, I'll take your, give me 4 minutes. Let me complete the chapter. And then I'll take more questions. Because there are only 4 more verses. Because he listed all these vibhutis, but he says, I'm done. This is the maximum I can go with the list of my vibhutis. I can't do more than this. Or does Krishna say something else? Text 40. Right? Yep. Nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa esha tuddeshata prokto vibhuter vistaro maya. All right.
Hare Krishna. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences.
Thank you. Text 41. Yad yad vibhuti matsattvam Srimad urjitameva va tad tad evavagachatvam mama tejomsha sambhavam.
Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor.
Thank you. Last verse. Athavai bahunaitena kim jnatena tavarjuna vishtabhyahamidam kritsnam ekamshena stito jagad.
But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
Thank you. So here, after explaining all the opulences, he says that, look, I just can give you a summary. We have a war to fight in 2 hours. Because please understand that Arjuna had to fight the battle, and this was spoken before the battle began. And if Krishna explained his opulences, it would take infinitely forever. He would never reach the end of it. That's why he says, this is all I can tell you for now. I've given you an indication. But just my own amsha, a small portion, a fragmental portion of my amsha, I can just pervade this whole universe. And then he ends the 10th chapter like that. All right, we take questions, Kennedy, and then we'll go online, and then we'll come back here.
Hare Krishna. In verses 30 and 33, Krishna says that he is time in both of those verses. What's the significance of him saying it twice?
Nice. So, among the Daitya demons, I am 30. Among the Daitya demons, I am devoted Prahlada. Among the subduers, I am time. Among the beasts, I am lion. And among the birds, I am Garuda. In 33, he says, of letters, I am the letter A. And among the compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also the inexhaustible time. And of the creators, I am Brahma. So the difference here he mentions here is that one aspect of time is the subduer. So when time comes for like leveling things, I am that subduer. But then here he talks in terms of inexhaustible nature of time. That time is never going to end. I just need to wait out, and time will run off with its course. There will be no seconds after that because time is done. No, he says, I'm inexhaustible. So there is that slight. And then he mentions thrice. The time is mentioned thrice in the list. Yeah. But is that helpful? All right. Online, Hare Krishna. Online, any questions, any comments? All right. Anybody here? More? Yes. Satat and Tanja.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So I had a question regarding a statement you had shared in the beginning, that in 10.1, Lord Krishna is saying that this knowledge is kind of better than whatever he has already spoken. And I got a little confused because in 9.2, Lord Krishna had said that Raj Vidya Raj Goyam, this is the king of all knowledge. So how is it that that is king of all knowledge and this is like even better than that?
Because you can practice the king of knowledge. The whole idea is that when Krishna says, think of me, in the material world it is impossible to think of Krishna unless he tells about his opulences. Then I see, Prahlad is just is the vibhuti of Krishna. Narada, I know who Narada is. So you can see how by looking at these various personalities, I can think of Krishna. And he says, when you know my opulences, then you will come to me without a doubt. He just said this is the king of education, but then here how is that's the theory and this is the practice, or trying to train your mind to think of Krishna. And the key here is, of all the yajnas, what does he say? Yajnanam japa yajnosmi. He gives the key saying that by chanting the names of Krishna, then you will come to me as well. So he's giving you a little more deeper, practical way of doing things, rather than just being in the theoretical portion.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Jay?
So this is more of a reflection that I was trying to think when Mataji asked the question. It's like about the fear and the love. And I was thinking like, so there is between fear and love, I feel there is another line, the comfort, where you feel the comfort. And personally, I feel like I'm not as qualified to call as like a true devotee of Krishna as I see people around, but also there is no fear that something bad will happen if I don't do it. But there is a comfort that when I am there and when I'm surrounded by, it just feels calm and nice. So between the two feelings, why I'm coming is probably between the two, and that's where I am visiting. So that's what I was thinking when you were
Nice. Thank you for sharing. Other questions, comments? Yeah, yes, Tapame.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have a question on, like you mentioned, there are many, many more examples that he could give, but he cut short. Is there anything revealed about why he chose these specific examples?
Not that I'm aware of. Yeah.
Prabhu, do you have time for another question?
Yes, Srinivas.
So Prabhu, I was thinking, he's mentioning all these vibhutis. Will that cause me to think that, okay, for example, he mentions about Shiva, right? So there is a chance for me to surrender to Shiva. But again, I can understand that he also says Sarva Dharman Parityaja in the end. But I can probably surrender to time or anything apart from Krishna. So that's my kind of question. I hope you understood my question.
Your question is, can I be misled into surrendering to Shiva because Krishna says of all the Rudras I am Shiva?
Yes, and also all the other vibhutis as well, right? So, for example, time and all these other examples he gives.
Well, after Arjuna says Param Brahma, Param Dharma, so you are the supreme. After acknowledging Arjuna's position of Krishna as you are the supreme, at that time you are really fixed in Krishna. You just see everything as a vibhuti of Krishna. Just like I mentioned earlier, that the mother who sees the child is gone to the school and sees the paraphernalia of the child, never she will confuse with the child itself, with the paraphernalia. So by this time, Krishna as a personality is fixed in Bhagavad Gita. It's like, Arjuna also says, Param Brahma, Param. Everybody is saying that you are the supreme. Now to suddenly think of somebody else as supreme, it can be a less of a chance, though I wouldn't say it's impossible.
Thank you, Prabhu.
If you're not happy with the answer, we can go deeper.
It's not that I'm not happy with the answer. I'm just trying to assimilate. Yeah.
Or we'll write an essay, Surrender to Sharks. Of all the fishes, I am the shark. Yeah. Other questions? Jambavati Mataji. Sorry, you have to use the mic because there are online folks, devotees, nice people.
Sorry. In the last verse, last paragraph, Prabhupada mentions in the first line that there is a beautiful poem about Krishna in which it is clearly stated, and he goes on to explain it. Does Prabhupada mention anywhere what poem is he talking about? Or is it just Gita itself?
Last verse.
Last paragraph, first line.
Last verse, last paragraph. Okay. The Supreme Lord is represented.
Oh, sorry, last verse of chapter 9.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No problems, no problem.
934.
I'll get back to you on this. I don't know. Which could be one of the songs of either Narottam Das Thakur or Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And I can't, perfect timing. In the purport to 9th chapter, verse number 34, I'll just read the purport. There is a beautiful poem about Krishna in which it is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in the worship of demigods is most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. Do you know any Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Narottam Das Thakur that directly? Thank you. Thank you. So I'll let you know. I'll see if I can find the place where it is mentioned. Then I think the counter to that is that we have the verse from Bhagavatam where it's mentioned Yatha Taror Mula. Yatha Taror Mula Nishechanena Tripyanti Tatkanda Bujo Pishaka Pranopahara Chayatendriyanam Tataiva Sarvarhanam Achyuteja. That by worshipping Krishna, all the demigods are pleased. Everybody is satisfied. So you can use the inverse, but this logic is something, let me see if I can find for you. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Thank you again for joining the Bhakti Sastri class. This class is meant not to test your intelligence or memory power or Sanskrit knowledge. It is just it's a way to purify ourselves by reading Srila Prabhupada's books. That's it. Thank you so very much. I will see you. So we have 3 consecutive weeks. I'm sorry, but we couldn't schedule it bi-weekly. So we have next 2 Sundays, and then we take a break, and then we have a couple in October and a couple in December. So thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu.
Thank you so very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.